had a high school social studies teacher who was the inspiration behind me going into college. I come from a family that none of us went to college. I'm the first college grad in the family. But he was more of, just going to work in the junkyard's not enough for you. You need to do more, you need to do more. A lot of pushing, a lot of this, you know, get down to this college and see it. Get down to this college and see it. His inspiration was what drove me into saying, yeah, I want to go to college. I want to give this a try. And, you know, he taught me a lot of life lessons. Teaching then became, maybe I can do the same for somebody else. So he's the reason why I got into education. Yeah, I always felt like as a principal, I could get to kids more than I could as a teacher. And by get to them, work with their concerns, work with their problems, talk to their mom and dad more, you know, things that you just don't have time when you're teaching to do. Young man way back when I was still teaching. And it's one that always comes to my head because it's kind of funny, but it's not kind of funny. It came from a hardworking family that, you know, were workaholics because they had to be. He was tried really hard at football, but couldn't put any extra time in because he was working with Dad. Dad was a logger and he was in the woods, you know. And I remember having him in my sophomore history, and then I had him again as a senior, and he'd grown up. I mean, massively had grown up, and I taught a class called Social Problems, and we did things like child abuse and marriage abuse, and what is love, and what's sex, drugs, rock and roll, all this kind of stuff. And he came in one Monday morning and he said, you know, Mr. Sanders, I think you saved me from going to jail over the weekend. I said, how did I save you? I wasn't even there. And then I would just say to him, is this something that I should really hear about? Or is this something that, you know, I'm going to have to call the police? He said, no. He said, you know, I was out at this party. I said, maybe we ought to stop right now, you know. He goes, no, I want to tell you this. I was out at this party and, you know, and my girlfriend and I were fighting. He says, you know, I was so mad at her, Mr. Sanders, I thought about smacking her. And he said, all that came to my head was you saying, we don't hit women. We just don't hit women. We can work it out. And he said, you know what I did? I walked home. And he said, I got up yesterday morning. My dad said, where's the truck? He said, I told him why. And he told him, you know, Mr. Sanders said that this is what I needed to do. And so I did it. I've had a lot of them. I've had a lot of them who've done that. But I had one who is always the one I look back and say, God, I wished I had that minute over. I wished I could do it again. Young man who had just moved to our area, hung around afterwards and knew he wanted to talk. He wanted to say something. And he said, Mr. Sanders, I really wish you the best of luck. I hope you find what you're looking for, he said. And I said, you know, hey, you know, I hope you do too. But I never dug. I never dug what he meant. And I went home, moved, went to my hometown, and he was killed in a motorcycle accident that summer. And he was killed coming out on what he thought was a county road going out of town, and it was the next road up. And at about 85 miles an hour, he hit the garage door in this guy's house, killed himself. And I think back to myself, could I have done something different? Could that have, could I change that? And so when I went into guidance, I always have said, I'm going in to help kids, and I will spend what time I need with them, because I'm not so sure I did here. You know, I had somebody here a while back say to me, now that you retire, what will you miss? Well, I won't miss snow days. And I won't miss negotiations, but man, oh man, I will miss the people. And the Lake Mills people are pretty fantastic. We have great teachers, and you know, I tell my teachers how spoiled we are because we really have great kids. And it comes from the community. I mean, there are expectations. The community expects good kids. They expect teachers to be good citizens, just like I do. But that's the wonderful thing about Lake Mills is the teachers, the staff, the aides, all the way up and down, custodians, bus drivers, but mostly, man, we've got good kids.